Hi, welcome back to my knitting room. I'm Melissa, Stitches Be Slippin on Instagram. This is the Stitches Be Slippin knitting podcast. I am back to my original setup of chair, box, garbage can, phone on top with the candle propped up behind it. Because in my last episode, I noticed when I was splicing the videos together, I made some video last time at my cabin on my phone, and then I inserted some video that I made on my laptop here in my knitting room, and I noticed there's a very distinct difference that my phone takes way clearer videos than my laptop. So I'm back to my old shenanigans with a very precarious situation that my phone is on top of. So I hope I don't knock it all over. If I do, I apologize. Yeah, I've been back in my knitting room. I can confirm that I did in fact enjoy all my time at home by myself. We were out at the cabin, and then I came home for a few days so I could work, and all my boys, my husband and my boys, stayed out at the cabin for a few extra days, and I got to be home by myself. I got the house all to myself. I went to work for a couple days, and yeah, I did enjoy the time to myself. It was definitely weird, definitely quiet. I definitely stayed up too late knitting because no one was telling me to go to bed, but I also definitely didn't have to clean up after anybody, didn't have to cook for anybody, so that was quite lovely. On the Friday that they came home, I got up in the morning and was like, oh well, I better clean up because I gotta go pick up the boys this afternoon. And so I threw out the pizza box that I had ordered for dinner a few days before, and then I was done. There was no other mess because it was only me living here for 3 days, so that was quite nice. So then I picked the boys up from the airport on Friday, and they were excited to see me, and then we came home, and then I left again the next morning to go to Lethbridge, which is in southern Alberta, for provincials for my ringette team. Here's a little fun fact about me. I've been playing ringette. If you don't know what ringette is, please look it up. It's not hockey, but it's a women's sport on ice, and it is super fast and super fun. I've been playing since I was 7 years old, and I can't do that math in my head. I've been playing for over 30 years. I'm 44 years old at this very moment. So anyone else who can do math in their head, good for you. That's not my jam. Where was I going with that? I went to ringette provincials. So I play on an adult women's ringette team. We have actually a few ringette leagues here in Calgary. I didn't mention that I live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I play part-time on my team just because my kids' schedules are kind of crazy, but when it comes to provincials, it's like a tournament at the end of the season to obviously determine who the best teams are in the province. And we finished high enough in our city to qualify for provincials, so off we went. So yeah, the boys came home on Friday night, and then I left on Saturday morning for the weekend. But I had originally told my team that I couldn't go to provincials, and they only had 9 skaters, and having 10 skaters, which is 2 lines, makes a big difference. So we were out at the cabin, and I was thinking, oh, I feel like I'm letting my team down because I'm not going. I'm gonna be home, but I'm not gonna go. And I was not going just because I knew I was gonna be home by myself for 3 days, and then the boys were gonna come home. And I thought, if they're gone and then they come home and then I leave again, then that's not really, I was having mom guilt basically. And so I was thinking about it, and I thought, if this was my husband and his hockey team, which he plays hockey, if they had some if they had a provincials tournament that he needed to go to and they were short on skaters, like it wouldn't even, I mean, it would be we would have a conversation about it, but it would just be like, yeah, no, okay. It wouldn't, there's a different level of, I don't know, I just call it mom guilt. Because dads don't seem to like get that. I think okay, this is gonna get a little feminist ranty, but in our society, boys and men have been raised to just go and do what they want, and women and girls are raised to put everyone else first. And so I decided, you know what, we're gonna have a conversation about this. And we decided, okay, well, I couldn't go to the Friday night game because I was picking them up from the airport and it wasn't gonna work. So we were like, okay, well, I'll just go on Saturday morning, and that's that. So anyway, that's a really long conversation about Brant Provincials. We did really well. We brought home the bronze medal. It's hanging up over there. I won't put you through it, but we did great. We eliminated our, what would you call them? Not our nemesis, but our kind of arch rivals that we play in our league all the time, and they beat us all the time. And then we had like a sort of a sudden death game to determine who was going, because there was a tie to determine who was going into the semifinals. So we had to play them in like sort of like a sudden death mini game, and it was really like we won and we eliminated them, and it was so fun. They are a team who they like to party when they're away at tournaments, so they had been out partying all night the night before, so we took advantage of that and put one past the goalie. Anyway, we won bronze, and so it was a lot of fun, and it was a lot of fun to have like a girls' weekend and spend time with my team, which is important. Anyway, I'm 7 minutes in and haven't talked about knitting at all. I hope everyone had a nice Easter if you celebrate it. I hope everyone is enjoying, anyone who observes Ramadan is enjoying that. And all of the there's a lot of holy festivals this month. I don't participate or believe in any of them personally, but I respect anybody who does. So there's that. For Easter, we spent time with both sides of the family. So by my side of the family, we went to my mom and dad's for a sleepover, which the boys were super excited about because they don't get to go there very often. It's about an hour and a half drive away. They live on a farm in the country. So the boys love going there and going on adventures around the farm. And then we came home, and on Easter Sunday, we went to the new Mario movie, which was awesome. We went to that, the boys and I went to that with my husband's side of the family, and then we went to my husband's mom's for dinner. Anyway, that's a lot of stuff that nobody cares about. The only other thing that's happening right now is COVID has entered the building into my grandma's, what do you call it? She lives in an assisted living facility. She's 93. She's going to be 94 in June. And it's happened a few times where COVID has entered the building. Someone has brought it in, and then some of the residents got it. So they were just keeping the residents that had COVID to their rooms, but now they've locked down the building. So the residents have to stay in their rooms, and they bring them meals. And then a few days ago, they tested all of the residents after they decided to lock down the building, and my grandma has COVID. She tested positive. So we always have been very concerned about if she ever got it, because she has like COPD. She's on oxygen 24 hours a day kind of thing. So we've been very nervous about this, but in the 2 days since she tested positive, she has had no symptoms whatsoever. So we're hoping that continues. So That's it for, okay, it's 10 minutes now. Shut up and talk about knitting. Okay, I have a bunch of FOs. I just posted on my Instagram today and yesterday a bunch of FOs. One of them is a single one, and then I posted today, I was like, I'm not gonna do 4 separate posts for all of these things. So I posted one post today with 3 separate FOs in it. So if you want to go check those out, I'm going to show most of them here. One of them was the pink Amapola cardigan that I showed in my last episode, so I won't show that. But the rest of them I can show here. First of all, what I'm wearing / my first FO. This is the staple linen top by Hohi Locatelli. It is absolutely gorgeous. I have never, bruise on my arm that's almost gone, courtesy of some bitch that I was playing against in ringette / my arm. Anyway, I've never had a garment this color before, and I absolutely love it. This is Sonder Yarn Co. I did have the yarn here. I think it was in here. This was the bag I had it in, Fringe Supply Co., which you can't buy anymore, sorry. This is the yarn, and it is Sonder Yarn Co. Muse is the base, 90% merino, 10% linen. And that is the cake of yarn. It has all the little, what looks like heather, like a heathered yarn, and those are all the little bits of linen. And it's a single. So it's not plied, it's just a single, and then the linen bits are spun onto it, and it knits up really, really beautifully. So you can sort of see how the little bits of linen are in there. It's a fingering weight, so it felt like it took forever to knit. But I just kept trucking. It was a very simple knit, actually. Like you start up here and do these parts separately, but then once you get to here, you're just knitting in around to the bottom, and then you're done. Well, you have to pick up and do like three rows or something around the neck, but it was lovely. It felt like it was taking forever, and then I was done, and I was like, ooh, that wasn't so bad. So anyway, it drapes. It has a really, really beautiful drape. I mean, it's mostly merino, so it's not anything crazy, but the 10% of linen makes it, I don't know what it does, but it's really, really, really beautiful. I love it. I have another 2 skeins of this yarn in a different color, in like a grayish blue, I think you would call that. It's over there, I won't get it, but I'm thinking about making another one actually. Or I actually also would like to make the, what's it called? Salty Air, I think, by Samantha Guerin. If I can find it, I'll put a picture up here. I also want to make that. I had 2 skeins of this, and I have 2 skeins of that other blue, and I bought those with those 2 patterns in mind. So having knit this now and feeling how it feels to wear it, I am more inclined to knit that other one. And it's spring, so it's time to like make springy tops, and spring has finally arrived in Calgary. The snow is almost all gone now, thank God. Lasted forever. Okay, I think that was all I had to talk about with this top. I don't think I made any modifications actually, which is a little strange, but my next one is, oh, this is inside out. After I finished, what the hell happened there? Uh-oh, look at this. I don't know what happened there. There's like a big, oh shit. Anyway, I think maybe my cat got it. She does that sometimes. Anyway, this is called the Ripple Crop Top Worsted by Jessie May, or Jessie, I don't know what she's called on Ravelry. I'll link it below. It is called the Ripple Crop Top Worsted, but you can use DK or worsted, whichever. And I chose to use DK. So this yarn, this yarn is undyed DK from Polka Dot Creek, which is where I work. I'm a yarn dyer. I work for Shelly, who owns Polka Dot Creek, as a yarn dyer. There's a few of us. And so this is undyed. This is just the color that yarn comes before they put dye on it, just in case you didn't know. So this is, it's like, it was a really fast, really simple knit. I want to say, yeah, it was not that hard. It's like an all over 3x3 ribbing, which is very, as I've said before, I love doing ribbing now that I knit continental. It was very, I don't know what you would call it, meditative. It was really fun. I really enjoyed making this, and it knit up really, really quick because it's a DK. I followed the pattern. I'll put a picture here. I have pictures because I just posted them to Instagram yesterday of how it looks like on, what it looks like on. But like when I finished it, I wore this all day yesterday, so it's stretched out a little bit. But when I finished it, it was like this big because of all the ribbing, and it looked like a doll shirt or something. But then you put it on, and the ribbing stretches out, and it just hugs you, and it looks so nice. I chose undyed because I like wearing white under things, and I thought it would look really good. Like it'll look good under like jumpsuits, rompers, overalls. It looks good. I wore it under like a denim button-down shirt yesterday. I just think it'll be really versatile in like this nice neutral color. I followed the pattern. I wish I had made it a little bit longer because it lands like here, and I wish it was just a little bit longer because yeah, I have the pucker above my belly button from having kids, and it just doesn't go away no matter what. And so this lands just above the belly button pucker, which kind of annoys me, but I didn't make it with the intention of it being something that I would wear on its own. It's more of a layering piece. So anyway, yeah, Jessie May, just another one of her just genius designs. Like it looks complicated. It looks like it has, grab it again. Like this looks like you pick it up and apply an I-cord around it, but it's not. It's just how she gets you to do your ribbing. You're just ribbing back and forth. And it's just built into the pattern, the way that she does the ribbing. You don't have to do anything special, that it just looks like it has this beautiful I-cord finishing on it. I was gonna leave it, actually, once I got up to here, I was gonna leave it as a tank top, but then I decided to put these little cap sleeves on, and I like it. So I don't know what the hell happened back here. It's not a drop stitch. It looks like it got snagged on something. Oh well. Okay, then this one is my cardigan that I was working on last time. This is my novice cardigan mohair edition by Petite Knit. The yarn is Polka Dot Creek in fingering and mohair held together in the spicy mustard colorway. I don't know, I can put it on. This isn't really the shirt that I would wear underneath it. It would look kind of weird, but I can put it on just to show you. We have a whole bunch of jars of buttons at work, and I got to pick out some buttons, so that was nice. So here is my cardigan. It's nice and drapey, and yeah. I didn't do a very good job picking up the button bands in the front. I was just going along and picking them up, and I picked up significantly less than the pattern said to do. So I wasn't going back because I hate picking up stitches for button bands. So I wasn't gonna like pick them all up and then drop them all and do it again. No. So it's a little, it comes up a little, which is whatever, I don't really care. I usually wear it with like a camisole or something underneath, and then like French tuck. Thank you, Tan France. I'm a big Tan France French tuck fan. So yeah, this was really, it was easy to knit. It's meant to be a beginner pattern, so as I said before, I could have done without that last increase because it kind of makes it bubble out a little bit, but yeah, it's very cozy and delicious. I can't remember if there's anything else. Yeah, this was, oh, the sun just went behind a cloud or something. I can't show you the yarn individually because I used it all. I used 2 skeins of fingering and 2 skeins of mohair. But what else? I was just gonna say something else about it and I forgot. Well, I mentioned in my last podcast that I had started a different cardigan, and then that put it down for a while, picked it back up, couldn't figure out where I was in the pattern, was doing the pattern wrong, I figured out, and then just started this one instead. And so these button bands were made from the carcass of the previous attempt at making a cardigan with this yarn. I, instead of ripping out I had done like the button band and some increases, and instead of ripping it all out, because ripping back mohair is no bueno, I just left it. And then when I got to the end, I definitely needed it because I ran out of yarn on this one. So I just, like I had just pulled it off the needles. So when you pull it off the needles, you can just pull it out. So I just used that as my skein of yarn to knit my button bands. So there's a weird noise out there. I think my dishwasher is making weird noises. That was that. And my last FO to show you is something totally random. So I knit my spicy mustard cardigan. I knit that pink cardigan, the Amapola. I always say it wrong. I always say Amaparo. I think that's what I said in my last one. Amapola cardigan. And this, and I needed like a palette cleanser or something. And then we were podcasting at work at Polka Dot Creek. We have our own podcast called Easily Distracted by Yarn. So you could go check that out if you haven't seen that. And I had seen someone post on Instagram like a skein of variegated yarn, or like speckled, wildly speckled, paired with a mohair, and then put that together, and it looked really, really amazing. And I wanted to do something like that as like a little, like something small and quick and easy. I cast on a different color that like a single skein that I had in there, and then I realized that I had this color in my stash, and we're in the midst of doing a massive like summer collection at Polka Dot Creek. We've been dyeing tons and tons of fun, bright, summery yarn, and this is one of the colorways. We did this, I can't remember if we did it last year or the year before. It's one of our summer colorways that we only do in the summer, and I had to have this when we did dye it. I can't remember when it was, and I haven't done anything with it because I didn't know what to do with it, because it's just a single skein, and we all have those like single skeins in our stash that we don't know what to do with. Anyway, this is called Bubblegum, and I had this in my stash, and then I realized that this is what I should do with it. So I held it with mohair. This is also Polka Dot Creek. This is Ballerina, the colorway, mohair. So I held these two together and made this gorgeousness. This is the Parkview hat by Tracy of the Grocery Girls, Tracy Miller. It is super fun to knit. It goes super fast, and it looks super cute. So yeah, I mean, not much else to say about that besides it is like it's fingering and mohair held together, so it's fairly lightweight, but it'll keep you nice and warm because it's got mohair and it's fuzzy. I have this pom-pom in my stash, so I was thinking about maybe putting this one on there. I think we're going to use this as a sample. We have a yarn festival coming up in June. Polka Dot Creek, Shelly is the owner of Polka Dot Creek, and her mom, Penny, is the owner of Creek Gardens Crafts, and she dyes cotton yarn and makes lots of project bags. And the two of them together are Creekside Yarn Festival, which we usually just have every January. But this year is the 5-year anniversary of the Yarn Festival, and they decided to have one again in June. And the venue was available on Worldwide Knit in Public Day. So it was like all the stars aligned, and we're having a yarn festival on Knit in Public Day. So that's pretty fun. So I think we're revealing, maybe it'll all be revealed beforehand. I don't know. Shelly is the mastermind behind all the planning. There's so much planning and so many lists and things. I just do what I'm told, and I put the dye on the yarn that I'm told, and I'm not the keeper of all the plans. But we will have all of our nice summer colorways, etc. at that festival. And this is one of them. So this is, again, this is bubblegum. And there are lots of other really fun colors coming. This is a bag that my mom made me. As I've said before, she's a quilter and a cross stitcher, and she likes to dabble and she likes to make new things like all the rest of us makers. So she made me this, and she made me another one that she gave me when we went out there for Easter. So yeah, buckle up because it's amazing. She made me this. Isn't it beautiful? It's got that amazing rainbow cork on the bottom that I'm such a sucker for. And then some awesome Tula Pink fabric with skull butterflies. Yes, please. And then the inside is also Tula Pink, like rainbow birds and oh, it's amazing. You can't have it though. My mom made it for me. Haha. Oh, it's so gorgeous. Anyway, this is holding my one whip that I can show you. I am making, sorry, that's probably annoying. I'm making a shop sample for Shelly for Polka Dot Creek for the shop and for I think for the yarn festival. I think that is one she wanted one for. Sorry, that was my little notions pouch that I had to put on the floor so I can show you this properly. She wanted a shawl sample knit up, and Shelly had chosen it's a beautiful shawl. What was it called? Ice Cream Social, I think. I'll put a picture of it up here. It's really beautiful. It's like multiple panels of lace with lots of different colors, and it's really gorgeous. And I started working on it. I worked on it for a few days, and like I've done lace, I've done all over lace before, but I don't know what the problem was. It was not the pattern's problem, it was my problem. It was just something that I just kept messing up the lace, and I'm not good at, like, I'm not good at remembering to put in lifelines and that kind of stuff. And it was a big shawl, like 2 full skeins plus 6 colors of minis. Like, it was big, and it was gonna take a long time. And I just had to like wave the white flag that I had to surrender and be like, Shelly, is there any other patterns that I can make? Because like I can make it. I could have kept going, but it would have taken me a really long time because it was one that I would have had like one of those ones where you have to sit in quiet and focus and not have anyone else around and not have music on and not even be watching YouTube and like nothing. Or Netflix. Yeah, I called it quits. So we decided on another shawl pattern with, I was looking for, she wanted something that would use all of these 6 colors of minis, and this, and one like kind of main color throughout. So the one that popped into my head was the Painting Waves shawl by Stephen West. I'll put a picture up here of the pattern, like his sample kind of thing. There are lots, I've seen lots of really beautiful versions of this shawl before. And so this is what came to my head. I sent it to Shelly and I said, what do you think of this? She's like, yes, let's do it. Let's go for it. So first I'll show you, this is our main color. And this is, all of this is fingering weight yarn. This is called, oh shoot, I had a temporary brain freeze. This is called Sugar Cookie. And it is a very fun, like, lots of different fun colors, speckles. So that's our main color. And then we have 6 colors of minis that we're using. This is called Lipstick. It's blowing out a little bit just because it's like bright in here. But it's kind of like a reddish, pinkish red, reddish pink, pinkish red. Then we have Carnation, which is, I don't know if you'll remember, a while back I made a whole love note out of this color, with this color and mohair held, this fingering and mohair held together. So there's Lipstick, Carnation. Then we have, oh shoot, I think it's Duckling. This is the yellow, so that's Duckling. Oh, I'm gonna drop something here. Then we have Bright Aqua. Oh, I don't know how I'm gonna do that. And then we have Lilac, which is a very lovely little lavendery purple. And then lastly we have Hydrangea, and this is like a purpley blue. So these are all the colors. It's sort of rainbowy, but not, but sort of, which floats my boat because I love rainbows. So here is how far I've gotten. I've only been working on this for about a day or so, but this is, oh, it's so pretty. So it's gonna need a block, obviously, but so it's got all the little eyelets there, sort of a feather and fan type situation. Now I've just moved on to the second section where there's eyelets. There's more than one set of eyelets in the row. And we're starting at Lipstick, Carnation, Duckling, Bright Aqua, Lilac, Hydrangea. And so we're doing that sort of gradient. And then I'm moving back up the gradient too. So Hydrangea, Lilac, Bright Aqua, Duckling, and then Carnation, and then Lipstick. And then so it's just gonna like go up the gradient and then back down the gradient and then up. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like it'll be, instead of doing this set of stripes and then starting with this red again, instead of just doing that set of stripes over and over again, we're just gonna like flow back and forth through the gradients, which I think will look really, really pretty. So much easier to knit, much more fun. Yeah, and this is a little rainbow progress keeper. I got that at Stash Lounge, which is one of our local yarn stores here in Calgary. So that is my only whip that I can show you. I have a secret whip that's going on. It's not really a secret to anyone else besides one person who watches these videos, because it's a Mother's Day present. Mother's Day is coming up, so it's living in this little sock sack. That might have been a hint. Whoops. This little sock sack I got at Knit Night last week. I went to knit night last week, and one of the ladies that goes to the knit night with us, she's really, really awesome. I'm going to miss her a lot, actually. We became friends over the last year or so, and we have very similar knitting styles and tastes and things. And she got a promotion or a different job, and her and her family are moving to Houston. So she's been purging and cleaning out all of her yarn and her whole house and everything. And she brought a bunch of stuff to knit night on the weekend last week. And boy, did I score big time. I got this little sock sack. I don't think she made it. She does make bags. It doesn't have, when she makes bags, she usually puts her little tag on them. Her name is Knitty Pie on Instagram. I don't think she made this one, but anyway, it's just the cutest little sock sack. It's nice and soft. I also she was cleaning out her closet and her whole house, and I went over to the table to look at all the stuff that she had brought. And this cardigan, this unbelievably beautiful cardigan, was laying on the table, and I was like, did someone leave their sweater on the table? And she's like, no, I'm giving that away. I was like, oh my God. Like, anyone who knits sweaters knows how big of a deal it is to just give away a sweater. Like, we gift knit, but you have to be a really special someone to make a sweater for and give it away to, like, there are a very few people in my life that I have actually made a sweater for. So anyway, she said that she made this, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago maybe, and only wore it a few times, and I don't know. She says she's a process knitter, so she knit it and then she was done with it and doesn't really, she said she was gonna donate it to like a thrift store, and I went, yeah, I gasped. So anyway, it is I think it's the Campside cardigan by Alicia Plummer. So look at how beautiful this is. I absolutely would have knit this exact cardigan in this exact yarn for myself. Again, I wouldn't necessarily wear it with this underneath, but like, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna try this on, because there's other people at the knit night who like could have taken it too, but I put it on and was like, oh my goodness, it fits like she knit it for me. It's amazing. Look at that. It's so pretty, like all those eyelets. It's like, I love it. I've been just gushing about it to my husband. I was like, can you believe she gave this away? Can you believe this? I think he's a little tired of hearing about it actually, but it's a big deal. So yeah, thank you, Karina. I love it and I will treasure it, and I have worn it like 3 times since I got it last week. So it's in good hands. It's in a knitter's hands who appreciates it. Yeah, so after that knit night, I was actually a little inspired and was thinking, there's a lot of knits in my closet from when earlier, like when I kind of started knitting, garments in particular. Like, I was making patterns that didn't necessarily suit me, or that just didn't turn out to fit the way I like. So there's a bunch of stuff in my closet that like are beautiful and have that I made with really nice yarn and have beautiful stitch patterns and stuff like that, but just don't necessarily fit me, that I don't wear, that I haven't worn, same as this. So then I was like, oh, well, maybe that kind of inspired me, and I was kind of texting Karina back and forth, and she mentioned to me that one of the fabric stores here in Calgary, there's a store called Rick Rack Textiles. Is it just called Rick Rack? I'm not sure. It is Stash Lounge, which is one of our local yarn shops. Stash Lounge's sister store is called Rick Rack, and it's like a fabric store, but they're focused on garments, like people who sew garments. And they are having a me-made swap in April, later in April. I'm not sure if you can still register for it. I feel bad if the registration is closed. It might have closed today. Sorry. But yeah, so they're accepting up to 5 garments. Like if you register and I think you pay $5 or something, and you can bring up to 5 garments that you have made, either sewn or knitted, and you drop them all off at the store. I think over the next week, I have to choose which ones I'm taking and drop them off at the store. And then on, I don't know, the following weekend, everyone goes to the swap and you can choose up to 5 items to take home. What a brilliant idea. Oh, I think it's such a great idea, because we all have those things that we've made that don't fit us or that we just don't like anymore because our tastes change and that kind of stuff. So I'm really excited about that. I've always wanted to sew my own garments because I have not very much interest in sewing, but I love the garments that I see on Instagram that other people sew. So I'm hoping to like cash in on that a little bit. Maybe get some like hand sewn garments. That would be amazing. Or some other knitted garments that are more my style. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be really fun. Yeah, what's better than going into somewhere and getting to choose 5 things and just get to take them home, and not like all I had to do was pay $5 to register for I'm like, I'm fully into this. I'm very excited about it. Yeah, so other than that, I have a few acquisitions, and then I gotta keep knitting on my painting waves shawl for work. Here's one of my acquisitions. This is an awesome, cute little sticker. Like rock on with yarn on the brain. Love it. I love this. It's so cute. This is from, it's called, I don't know if you can read that. It's probably not going to focus on that. It's called, her account on Instagram is called Skein Appeal. I'll write it down below so you can, I love it. I actually thought when I ordered it that it was going to be a bigger one that I could like put on my vehicle or something, but I probably am still going to put it on my vehicle, like on the back or on the window or something, but I love them. Yep, because we've always got yarn on the brain. Oh, and when I went to Lethbridge for Ring It Provincials, we had a game at 10 in the morning and then not again until 5 or 5:30. So I had some time in Lethbridge, so I Googled yarn stores in Lethbridge and found one in this like just little tiny mall. I guess you could call it a mall. It was indoors. It was more like a strip mall, but just like indoors. This like tiny little yarn store with yarn just packed to the rafters, like wall to wall, floor to ceiling. There was a ton of yarn packed into that store. And they also had like cross-stitch stuff, embroidery stuff, like a whole bunch of embroidery thread. There was some fabric, there was weaving and loom, and did they have fiber for spinning? Probably, I don't know. All of the fiber related everything was in that store. It's called Knitting Time if you're interested in Lethbridge. They do, she did say that they do have a website and you can order and they ship all over the world. There wasn't a lot of hand-dyed yarn, which I'm usually in the market for, but, sorry, I'm trying to reach my acquisitions down here. They had a really beautiful selection of Rowan yarns, R-O-W-A-N, which I think there is a store in Calgary that carries Rowan, but it's just a store that I just don't usually go to for some reason. I don't know. Stash is my main one, and in Calgary, like my main yarn shop, my ride or die is Polka Dot Creek, obviously. But Rowan is a really nice commercial yarn, a really high quality commercially dyed yarn. And so it was really nice actually to like stand there. They had a bunch of different bases. They had a it was like a thing that, a display with like all of the colors of the rainbow of mohair. Be still, my beating heart. So then I had to decide which color of mohair I wanted, and I have had these two skeins. This isn't what I bought in Lethbridge, this is the preamble. I had these two skeins of the Wool Baron yarn. The Wool Baron is Louise. She's a local dyer here. She's lovely and friendly and super awesome, and you should go check her out. She has lots of amazing self-striping colors, actually. These two skeins were in her sale bin which show was it? I think it was the Fiber Shindig last year, maybe. And these were on sale. This is, she calls it her Everything But Socks fingering base. It's a 100% 17 micron superwash merino. So there's no nylon in it. I think that's why she says Everything But Socks. But I just really liked this color. I didn't know what I was gonna do with it, but I bought two skeins of it, just thinking that kind of will cover me for like a short sleeve top if I'm holding it single, or a long sleeve top if I'm holding it double. So I remembered that I had that, and found this mohair in Lethbridge. So it's not exactly the same, but I think it will make a really, really pretty color when they're held together. So this is Rowan Kid Silk Haze, which is another yarn that I've heard a lot of people use, mohair that a lot of people have used that I've never had or used or had access to. So they're 25 gram skeins, and it's 70% mohair, 30% silk, pretty standard. So I got 4 of these. So 4 of these equals 2 of these. So, oh, I think that's gonna be really, really pretty together. So I got 4 of those. And then they had this other base called Rowan Felted Tweed, which I have also heard a lot of people used and really liked. And it's a fingering / sport weight. It's, what is it? It's merino wool and alpaca. I'm trying to find the actual like percentages of the content of this yarn. It doesn't, oh, 50% wool, 25% alpaca, and 25% viscose. So this is Rowan Felted Tweed. And this, I don't know if this has this Seafarer maybe? 170 is the color number. It kind of got, the name is kind of cut off here, but it says, I don't know how to get that to focus, but it says like Seafarer, I think, on there. So I think that's the name of the color. Anyway, it's a really beautiful, like navy blue, but it's called Felted Tweed because it looks tweedy. It's got little bits, and I'm not sure if that's the alpaca that's the tweed, or because it doesn't say, it doesn't have neps, like tweed neps in it. So I'm assuming that the base is merino and that the alpaca is what's spun onto it to make it look tweedy. So I got 4 of those. These are 50 gram balls, and they are, oh, these labels are a little hard to read. 191 yards for a 50 gram ball. So that's almost 200, so almost 400. So it's kind of more of a sport weight. So I got 4 of those. So same thing, I could make a short sleeve top or hold it together with a mohair if I find one or something. I just really wanted to support this local yarn shop and keep it not keep it in business, but like find something and support them. I got up to the till and I paid, and the lady that worked there was really nice, and we were chatting, and I wasn't really paying attention to how much I was paying, and she told me how much it was, and I was like, oh, well, that's a little less than I had calculated in my head. But as I said, I don't do math in my head, so I just didn't really think anything of it. And I got back to my hotel room and I looked at my receipt, and she had charged me for 4 of these, but she only had charged me for 1 of these. So then I had a well, not really a predicament. I knew I was going to go back, but I was like, oh man. So luckily it was on, Lethbridge isn't a very large city, so it was on my way back to the rink when I went back to the rink for my second game. So I just went back, and I went back in and I said, I owe you another, if it had only been like $5 or something, or 10, like if they had just not charged me for like a stitch marker or something, that would have been one thing. But I think these were like close to $20 a skein. So I still owed them like $60. So that was a lot. So I just went back in and I said, I owe you some more money. You didn't charge me enough. And she was like, oh, thank you so much for coming back. And this sounds a lot like I'm just patting myself on the back for being a good person, but like, it was a no-brainer. You don't go into a local yarn shop to support them and help them stay in business and then like steal 3 skeins of yarn from them. That's not really how it works. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to using those. What else did I get? Oh, I have a couple other things. When I was visiting my parents, my mom gave me that amazing bag with the rainbow cork, and she also gave me a couple of other bags that she had just been she had gotten a pattern, or she had gotten a kit or something like that. And I had seen these before. I had been out there visiting before, and these had just been hanging, I don't know, on her sewing room door or something like that. And I was like, ooh, I really like those. And she didn't really say anything. And this time they became mine because I loved them. So it was just a pattern she was trying out. So this is like, I think it's a canvas of some sort. Anyway, I love the pattern. I love the color. And this one, she put a pink inside. There's no pockets or anything. It's just kind of like a tote. So she did that one, and then she did this one. Oh, this one's the smaller one. So there's 2 of them. So this pink one is shorter. This is shorter, and I think it's wider, and the handles are shorter. And then this one is longer with longer handles. So this one is like a nice long tote, and it's got like this really nice mustardy yellow in it. So these are great. I use bags like this a lot to go to work, to carry like my project bag, my lunch, my water bottle, all that kind of stuff in it. So these are really, really awesome. They feel nice and durable, and who doesn't need more bags? So thanks, Mom. I love them. And I have a feeling that Krista and Shelly are going to love them when I get to work tomorrow and show them. Yeah, those are all my acquisitions. I have a few more acquisitions on the way, but they haven't arrived yet. One of the people I follow on Instagram, she used to be a yarn dyer called Hypothesis Yarns. And she doesn't dye yarn anymore, but she was having just like a little personal de-stash. Some of it was her yarn, some of it was just yarn from her stash. And I got some yarn from that, so that's on the way. She was also de-stashing like an actual knitted garment that she had knitted out of her own yarn. So it should be coming soon, so I'll try to remember to show those next time, because there's no point in talking about them if I can't show them to you. And then my last thing that I wanted to talk about, I'm going to go back to my things in my knitting room segment. And this is very special to me because It is a very lovely maker that I follow on Instagram. Her name is Autumn, and her Instagram handle is Autumn Eden Goodman, at Autumn Eden Goodman. And she is a really lovely human being. We have a lot of the same values, a lot of the same, we chat sometimes, and she is very creative, and she's an amazing knitter, a beautiful knitter. And not too long ago, she was playing around with watercolors, and she just decided to do some cards of the stockinette knit stitch in watercolor, and she posted them on Instagram, and I immediately was like, please hold one of those for me. Are you gonna sell it? Well, first of all, I was like, I would buy this. Are you gonna sell these? These are beautiful, like, well done, good job. You're amazing at everything you do. Can I buy that, please? So anyway, she posted, I don't know how many of them there were, 10 maybe. Actually, there's a number on the back of here, like when an artist does something and it's a limited edition, and they do like 2 out of 10 or whatever, that's on the back here. So anyway, look at those beautiful stockinette watercolor painted knit stitches. Oh, it's so beautiful. I feel like it's off center. I need to fix that. This needs to shift over that way, but I just got this frame from Michael's. I was hoping to find like a neon pink frame, but I couldn't find one, unfortunately. But this one goes, so it's gonna go on my wall of things that I love over here in my knitting room, so I can look at it all the time. So thank you, Autumn. It is absolutely beautiful, and I love it so much. When we were out at the cabin, my kids were playing with watercolor paints one day, and I was like, I'm gonna sit down and try and do some stockinette knit stitches like Autumn. They did not look like this at all. So kudos. It takes skill and patience. I have both of those things. Patience, a little less. But like, good job, I think is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, yeah, I need to get back to my knitting, and I need to pick up my kids from school, not for another hour and a half-ish. So I'm gonna knit, I'm gonna watch some knitting podcasts. I think one I have queued up right now is Knit California. Oh shoot, I forgot what her actual name is, sorry. She's Knit California on Instagram, and she has just posted a video where she knit 3 different raglan sweaters, and then she knit 3 different drop shoulder sweaters, and then she's kind of comparing them all. So I'm very interested in that because I really want to knit a drop shoulder sweater. I haven't knit one of those before, besides my pink cardigan that I just made. That was a drop shoulder. I actually have a few drop shoulder sweater patterns on my list of things to shop for when I go to Montreal, for Knit City, Montreal in May. So I'm interested in what she has to say about these patterns. The one pattern that I am interested in I think it's called the Clove sweater. I think that's one of the ones that she knit, so I'm interested to hear about that. Anyway, thanks for joining me again in my knitting room, and I will see you next time.